Hello friends. So in this video I'm gonna talk about the abstract classes. Okay, so an abstract class is a special type of class, you can say, that cannot be instantiated. First of all, you cannot instantiate that, and acts as a base class for the other classes. Okay, abstract class members are marked as a abstract must be implemented in the drive class. Means if any members of the abstract class, if you provide the abstract keyword to those methods, then that must be implemented in the child class. Okay, the purpose, basically the purpose of using the abstract class is to provide a common definition, a common properties, of common features, common features for common definition for the base class that multiple derived classes can share and can be used only as a base class, and that never want to create the object. Like abstract class, you cannot instantiate the abstract class. Okay, any class can be converted into the abstract class by just adding a simple abstract modifier, abstract keyword, for making those simple classes as an abstract class. Let's move to the code. I'm going to implement the abstract class and gonna show you how to implement those. Okay, before starting the code, I'm just giving a scenario. Like in any organization there are two type of employees, like uh, part-time employees and the full-time employees. Okay, so basically full-time employees and the part-time employees both have some common features. Like if you are going to implement a application for the employee, then you will create a two classes, like part-time class, part-time employee classes, and the full-time employee classes. But you have some common features for both classes, just like their name, id, their address, working hours. But there is a difference in the both classes, like their salary calculation method will be different. Like there is a different method for calculating the salary for full-time employees. It's depends on the monthly basis, but the salary calculation for the part-time employees is a different, because it's considered as a hourly basis. I think you guys now can relate the abstract class use with this common scenario. Okay, let's move to the code. I'm going to create a abstract class, public abstract class. Let's say name is a employee, and so in this abstract class employee, they have some common features, common properties, like their employee id, like both have their employee id. Okay, um, so how you will define this? As a get set. I already talked about these things in our previous video, you can go through that. Now I'm going to create their name, public string emp name, and get set. Now just copy paste this. What can be the common properties in the both type of employees, like their employee id, their name, working hour? Working hour should be integer type. Okay, and days also, days will also be integer type. Okay, so these are the common properties for those employees. But there is a different method, like salary calculation method. So for both the employees, like part-time employee and full-time employee, they have the different salary calculation method, right? So I'm going to create a abstract method. public abstract. Salary can be in the double, not in the integer, so I'm going to provide the double. Let's suppose its name as a salary calculation, and i'm just I'm just defining this. Okay, I'm just declaring this, not providing the definition because it's a abstract. Okay, in the abstract method you cannot provide the definition. You can just need a you can just provide the sorry you can just provide the definition, you cannot implement those. Okay, that must be implemented in the child classes. Okay, so this is a simple abstract class. You can see in the abstract class the class members can be abstracts or non-abstracts. Like these are the non-abstract or the simple properties, or and this is the abstract method. Okay, now I'm going to create its constructor for setting the value in the let's suppose I'm providing this as a protected. The name should be the same. I have already shared the constructors video in my previous tutorials. You can go through that also. So what can be the properties in that? Um, yeah, so in this constructor I am providing the values. Just remove this from here and providing this here, so that the code will look good and will be cleared also. So in the employee constructor I am going to provide the parameterized constructor like int empid. Okay, and their name, amp name, int working hour, and also the int days. Okay, so you I'm going to provide this value and setting this value, like whenever you will going to uh, you know inherit the this abstract class into your child class, then it will automatically call this constructor. Okay, so employee id equals to emp id, amp name, it will set the value amp name, then working hour equals to work hour, then I'm going to put capital, days equals to days, for assigning the value using the constructor. I will show you in when I will implement this abstract class. Okay, so this is the abstract class. You can see simply here, this is the abstract class. I have provided the instance members like non-abstract members. Non-abstract member also called as an instance member. Okay, and I have created the parameterized constructor for this abstract class, and I have created the abstract method here also. Okay, so I'm just copying paste this things, and not copying paste, just move to the code, and I'm going to create two child classes, one for the permanent employee and one for the full-time employee. Okay, let's suppose I am firstly I am going to sorry first for the permanent and the second for the temporary employee. Okay, so permanent employee, it will inherit the abstract class employee. and okay. So whenever you will what it's showing some error. Let me check. It's showing a namespace. Oh, sorry, you need to provide the class. So this child class is implementing the this parent abstract class. So what's that error it's giving? It's giving permanent employee does not implement the inherited abstract member salary calculation. As I already told you, like whenever you will create the abstract methods in the abstract class, and if you are going to implement in the child class, you need to provide the implementation for those abstract methods. Okay, so in the permanent employee, uh, you need to provide the declaration. I am going to override this. So in my next video I will tell you about the override things. Double um, for this salary calculation. Yeah, salary calculation. In this salary calculation I am going to return salary calculation logic for the permanent employees. It's based on the first of all you need to provide the constructor for the permanent employee also, because it's defined in the abstract like this, right? So for the permanent employee also you need to provide the constructor. So the name should be same for the constructor, as I already told you, like constructor name should be same as the parent, and constructor don't have a return type. Okay, so in this I'm going to define the employee ID and a string name as I already implemented in the parent abstract class, right? Name, let's suppose it's the employee name, and it's working hour and in days, and this child constructor is going to implement the parent constructor. So for using the parent constructor you will use the base keyword, right? EID, employee ID, AMP name, working hour and days. What's it's giving some error? The name employee ID does not exist in the current context, and employee name also. Okay, so why it's giving this error? Because let's suppose you are just giving the same name. Okay, so I have created this child constructor, and now you need to provide the definition for the abstract method, this salary calculation. So for this, suppose the working hour and multiplied by the days. Let's suppose there are some, this is the salary calculation method for permanent employees. Okay, so this is the permanent employee. Now I'm going to create the part-time employee. So I have created this class for the temporary employees, and in the temporary employees I am providing one extra features like probation period. Okay, and I have created the constructor temporary employee just like I have provided for the permanent employee, and the salary calculation method which is different for the temporary employees and the salary calculation methods in the permanent employees. Okay, because it's based on some working hour, and they have permanent employees and temporary employees both have the different salary calculation methods, so I have provided this feature here. Okay, now in the main method I have implemented the permanent employee class and the temporary employee class. Okay, and I have provided this attributes for the these parameters for the parameterized constructor. Like for the permanent employee I have created this parameterized constructor, right? So I have used this parameterized constructor. If you are not giving this, then it will give you error because you have created a parameterized constructor. Okay, let's run this. See, you can see the output of this. Like for the permanent employees there is a different salary calculation, and for the temporary employees there is a different salary calculation. Okay, thank you for watching.